A U.S. Marine's plea for help is desperate call to 911. Here is part of Andrew Tahmooressi 911 call from the border.
I'm at the border of Mexico right now, and my problem is I crossed the border by accident, and I have 3 guns in my truck, and they're trying to take my guns from me.
So you're in Mexico?
Yeah.
There's nothing I can help you with then, sir. I do apologize. You're not on American soil anymore. I can't really help you.
And the Marine's mother, Jill Tahmooressi, telling us about the weeks leading up to her son's arrest and the terrifying minutes leading up to that 911 call. A year ago, about May or June of 2013, he moved back home, and that you noticed problems that he was hypersensitive about security.
Yes.
And so that's why he had the guns.
Yes.
So it's fair to say that he was troubled.
Yes, he was troubled.
Which is why he then went out to San Diego to go to the VA.
Yes.
And was at the VA getting help about 2 weeks before he
March 12th.
March 12th, he goes to the VA in San Diego. They do a report.
Yes.
They document the fact of the IED, the PTSD.
Yes.
And they begin to, I suppose, develop some sort of program.
Yes,
to have
a treatment plan, yes.
So meanwhile, he goes back to sort of living his normal life, and that's when on March 31st he drives to the border area.
That's right.
Parks his car on the U.S. side, goes into Tijuana for time, and then when he goes out, he gets back in his car, guns in the trunk, leaves the parking lot, and when he leaves the parking lot, he makes the wrong turn. Instead of going towards San Diego, he made a left turn, in which, curiously, if you go left, you'd think you'd go north to San Diego, but as it turns out, you go left and you end up looping around in a no-exit lane into Mexico.
That's right. And that last left mistake, which is, again, only 50 feet from the parking lot, that's the sign that has graffiti on it as well. There's a sign there, but at 11:30 at night, I'm not sure if I would be able to see it.
So as he enters Mexico, he gets stopped at the Mexican checkpoint.
Yes.
And does he volunteer to them, I have 3 guns in the trunk?
I don't want to be here. This is a mistake. It's an accident. I don't mean to be here. Will you let me turn around? I want to go back to the border.
And I have 3 guns?
And I have 3 guns. I want to go back to the border. Absolutely declared it, open and honestly.
At what point does he make the 911 call? While he's still at the checkpoint?
He told me that he was hopeful at that one point in time before the 911 call, because it was only the customs agents. And it seemed like the customs agents were being quite accommodating, like, okay. And he actually thought that they were flagging over some kind of an escort car that would help a lost motorist in that situation get turned around, because it would be illegal to turn around. You'd be going opposite. But he thought that he was getting help, an escort to get back to the border. But then within minutes, he realized that there was a whole lot of conversation going on. And now another group of not custom agents, but military have come. He said 20 with guns. And that's when he dialed 911, because now he is affronted by military with guns. He knows he's got guns. He's already told the custom agents that he's got guns and he wants to get back to America. So he dials 911 to say, I've got an emergency here. And we all know now what he said on the 911, but it's clearly, I accidentally entered Mexico. But at one point, he's almost hopeful that he's not yet in Mexico. He's hoping that he's still on American soil.
Who actually opened the trunk?
Now, you have to picture a Ford F-150. It's not a trunk, it's a truck.
Okay.
So you've got the big, bench seat, and he's got the whole bench seat in the back. It fits 6. So in his back seat is piles of hefty bags of clothes that he literally packed. He packed in hefty bags, and the few suitcases that he does own when he left at Christmas time to head to the family cabin in Tennessee.
Right.
So, and all that stuff has always been in his truck.
So where are the guns at this point? Are they on the back seat?
Suitcase.
Or in a suitcase in the far back or on the back?
Well, there's only one back seat. You only have one back seat.
But is there an area behind that back seat?
No. It's only one back seat.
And it's on the back seat in a suitcase?
In a suitcase on top of hefty bags full of clothes.
And he told...
But the 45 is where I would have thought it would be, because it's always in the pocket of his car.
Loaded?
I don't know. I don't know about... All I know, the 3 guns. I don't know.
All right. And is there any suggestion, as far as you know, that he was in any way reaching for, threatening, or doing anything with those guns?
No.
That he notified the Mexican... Our attention is focused on the fact that we have a U.S. Marine in this prison.
Yes.
But,
yes.
Sort of the side story of this is that, you know, there's so much attention now on what we're doing for our vets when they return.
Right.
And I guess what, you know, caught my attention is the fact that here's a young man who's returned. He's had several incidents in Afghanistan, IED blowing up his military vehicle or the front of it, obviously having trouble, and then going to a VA hospital to try to help trouble, and then 2 weeks later we have this situation.
It's tragic. It's tragic. And this situation clearly, I mean, it was a mistake, an accidental turn. I mean, an innocent wrong turn. But we're from Florida. That's not a border state. We don't have that sensitivity about the hazards of being so close to a border, to be quite frank. In Florida, we don't always hear a lot of news about Mexico. So if you think about a Floridian who's really just relatively new to San Diego, you don't really understand the hazards of being so close to a foreign country where guns aren't allowed, and you know the legal system is different. So it was an innocent mistake. And
I actually, the bigger issue, because I've driven this, the bigger issue is, I've actually now driven where your son was. That left turn, I'm not so sure I wouldn't have made that same left turn, because those signs are, especially at night, when it's dark, I might not have noticed those two signs, but it made more sense to turn left to go north to San Diego. I would have thought that was the direction towards San Diego, not knowing that it would loop around to a street that you couldn't, that you were then forced into Mexico in. I mean, that would just be, I would not think that was the direction of Mexico.
Right.
You'd have to, but anyway, that's just me. Jill, thank you.
Thank you, Greta.